To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So as I've been showing you and promising you, we're kind of at the second phase of our off-grid, maybe third phase, I guess, of our off-grid lifestyle. Sorry for the shading. The first phase was to get our camper set up, get the solar panels set up, get the well running. The second phase of our off-grid lifestyle and tiny house was to build the tiny house, and voila, there it is. I know it's voila, but... And then the third phase is we're going to start developing our own food, growing our own food, butchering our own food. Now, for those who keep telling me, I don't want you to butcher anything on camera, it's against YouTube's terms of service. You can't butcher anything on camera. That would be animal abuse according to them. So no, I would never do that on camera. But there are things that I want to show you about the process that's not disgusting. As you know, we've been working to get chickens going. I've ordered the chickens. Yahoo! They should be on their way. I would suspect, let's see, this is Friday. They said that they will ship them Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesday. But now what they do is they ship it in a insulated box and they put a heat pad in it. That keeps the chickens warm so they can make it through the shipment in wintertime. We bought, as I was telling you, the feeder and the water feeder. So the food feeder and the water feeder. Does both. This does food and water. I wish I'd have known that. I'd have just gotten two of these, but instead I got one of these. But that's okay. That'll be great if I ever have to go anywhere for extended periods. I think we're pretty much ready for the chicks to arrive in a couple days. Now, the other thing I've been working on, you saw me working on, is the garden. Carolyn just got her heritage seeds, their heirloom seeds. I showed you that in a couple videos now, and she's really excited about getting the garden going again. Last year we tried a garden, but as I've documented several times now, we really struggled with the garden because we have so much shading here. So as soon as we got the heirloom seeds, Carolyn asked me if I would start clearing out the shaded areas. It's not something we wanted to do. I talked about that in the video where I showed you that I was clearing it out, but I cleared out all these cedar trees here. So I got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 cedar trees cleared out. I got some firewood that I wanted to get anyways cut up. So the sun comes up over here and back over here. So 2 times a day, our garden, which is right where I'm standing basically, it's right here, is shaded. So is the solar panels right here. Clearing this out is going to give us more hours of daylight. Now, the other thing I was talking about is pigs. I'm not sure I'm ready to raise pigs just yet. I mean, that's going to take a hog confinement. But what I have done in the past is you can go to the auction, livestock auction, and you can pick up a pig. Now, when I say this, the prices I'm talking about were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. You can go pick up a pig for $100. So let's say it's 120 or 130 bucks now, whatever it is. You pay a little bit extra, and when you go to the auction, you're gonna upset a farmer. They're trying to get a pig at market price, and you're gonna outbid them. What you're trying to do is get a pig that is going to be cheaper than what you can buy pork at the store for. Just so happens, I got pork right here, and I looked at the price. It's $1.50 for a pound. So if I go to the market and I get $1 a pound, $100 for 100 pounds, then I'm saving 54 cents a pound. So I'm absolutely getting a bargain, even though, let's say the farmer is expecting to get this pig for $90 because that's market price for the pig. So they get kind of, you can see it in the audience, they're like, what is he doing? He's really running the price up. They don't like that, but you're only getting one pig, and then you're in there and out of there. And so I've butchered it. The last time I did it, I was big into sausage. You can get the pig butchered up within a couple hours. It's not a big process. I know everybody wants to render the fat and all that, and that's where all the work comes in, is rendering the fat. But if you just do it, just skin the pig, butcher it, and you start grinding up the meat. You can use sausage for everything. Spaghettis, breakfast, sloppy joes. And so it becomes a real flexible meal, and you got tons of it. So it's basically a replacement for hamburger. I mean, beef is so expensive. Well, here, I'm not gonna be able to do that. We don't have the refrigeration space or the freezer space to freeze that much sausage. We got this little freezer. So of course, there's several things you could do to preserve meat other than freezing it. You can smoke the meat, you can can the meat, or you can cure the meat. Now with canning to me It's a really good idea, and I've done it in the past with chicken specifically. I always made chicken soup. I canned chicken soup. Oh, it was a great chicken soup too. The problem is if you're going to butcher a pig, you want to do it in one day. Maybe two if you do it in the fall where it's cool temperatures, but then you got to worry about the wild animals coming and eating it overnight. So it's something you got to do in one day. Well, if you're trying to can 100 pounds of meat in one day, it's probably going to not happen. You're probably not going to make it happen. You could smoke that much meat in one day, or you could cure the meat. Salt cure, which I've been talking about several times now. Salt cure, you can just cut out big hunks of meat like this. This is 7.6 pounds of meat. Of course, now you got to do it in a cool day between 36 and 40 degrees. So okay, again, you do it in the fall time. Now what we're going to do is a salt cure, where we just spread the salt right on top of the pork. Now you could do a brine cure also, where you actually inject the meat, and then you wouldn't necessarily need to have cooler temperatures. The reason you have to have cooler temperatures is the salt has to soak into the meat for 24 to 48 hours. Well, if it's 70 degrees outside, the inside of the meat is going to spoil before the salt gets into it to stop the spoiling. So today I'm going to cure this piece of meat. It's just a pork butt. We got it for $11.75 at the store. This is my trial run. This is where I'm going to see if this works. So this is going to be a continuation video. So a couple weeks from now, I'm going to make another video showing you if it worked or not. And the best way I'm going to tell you if it worked is if it smells. If it smells bad, then we're not going to try it. The FDA says you can cure meat, which is the Food and Drug Administration, and it should stay good for a year. After a year, you can still eat it, but the meat quality goes down. So what I got here is Morton Tender Quick Salt. Home meat cured. I bought it off Amazon. It was $10 for a 2-pound bag. And Carolyn and I figured it up. You can cure 64 pounds of meat with this one bag. It takes 1 tablespoon of salt for every pound of meat. So this is almost 8 pounds. So we got 8 tablespoons of salt here. We're going to put the meat in the pan, and we're going to spread the salt all over it. Then we're going to put the meat in a bag, and then I'm going to make sure all the salt goes in the bag with it, whatever's remaining in the pan, you know, because I'm going to drop some. I'm going to shake it in there, make sure it's all good and salted up. It's colder than 36 degrees outside, which means we're going to get into freezing temperatures. However, my water tank box has been staying pretty consistent right at 36 to 40 degrees. So for 24 hours, I'm going to put my meat in here. That way it keeps it cool, it won't freeze. Okay, so this is the temperature of my tank. Right here, it's 38 degrees in the tank right now. Outside, I think it's about 27, 29 degrees. So this would be perfect for my meat to stay cool while that salt soaks into it. So I'm going to open up the meat here. Okay, so I'm just going to pour the salt on it, and I'll rub it in. Don't want to spill a bunch of it. One of the things though, you want to make sure that you get every crack and crevice. So like there's a little cut here. So I put the salt in there, and I got it good and salty on every little square inch. My grandpa used to do this. And Dad tells the story that one time he went out there, and there was, this is going to be gross, so sorry, there was a little maggot spot right over here on the piece of meat. The rest of it was fine. And Grandpa just cut off that little piece of maggot spot and said, we won't tell the girls about this. The thing is the maggots would only eat the spot that had not been salted. Of course, I don't know if I would actually eat it if I saw that. I have eaten it, apparently, because I ate Grandpa's pork. I want to make sure that I get all the salt out of the pan. Get it all the cracks and crevices. Oh, look at that. See, I missed a spot right there. And that's probably the little spots that Grandpa missed. Now my grandpa, he left his meat out in the well house. It was always there. I remember it vividly. He always had hunks of meat laying out in the well house. exposed. He didn't put it in plastic bags like I'm getting ready to do. He would just have it laying out. And you can see the color change. You'll see the red from the meat, and then when you get salt on it, it turns pink. All right, so now we're going to put it in the bag. Okay, so Carolyn has asked me to put it in this insulated bag, and we have a silicone pack in there to keep the moisture out. That's not necessary. Carolyn asked me to do it, so of course I'm going to do it. And then we're going to put it into the water tank for 24 to 48 hours. After that, I'm going to take the bag out. I'm going to bring it in the house and we'll put it underneath the bed, and it's going to sit there for 2 weeks. Room temperature. That's my goal, is I want it at room temperature for a couple weeks. Then I can come in and see if it's spoiled. And then I'm going to report the results to you in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. I hope I can inspire you to preserve your dream. Thanks for watching.